Okay, so let's just kind of move through these concepts here. So sometimes they're introducing us to confidence intervals or something. I know that we're not talking about that, but it's just kind of basic math concepts. If they want to know the middle, we know that. Yeah, what is the middle of an interval? You add and divide by 2 always to find the midpoint or the middle. So we have the interval there. We found the middle. So there's, of course, more than one way to find half the distance. The range is, of course, bigger minus the smaller. Yeah, half the range is the distance from the middle to either end. So obviously we can take an obvious guess on how to do that. There's more than one way, but all we would ever do is the highest minus the middle. 4. And then they want us to write that in like how do they do that there? Yes, the middle plus or minus the distance. They're just introducing us to the basic concept of what a confidence interval is. If we do an actual confidence interval, it's literally an interval of numbers with something like the mean, the mean or proportion in the middle, and then this length is what's called the margin of error. So they're not really doing it, but they're doing the basic concept. So one way you can do an interval is the sample mean plus or minus the margin of error is going to represent those outside numbers is one way to do that. So 11.9 plus or minus 11.14, obviously. So it is not inclusive, is what they're saying there. Okay, so basically testing us on whether or not we can plug into that equation. And we do have to be careful. Very, very easy, but also very easy to make a mistake. So it's just whether or not we can do it without a mistake. Some people will literally forget to do a square or a square root or whatever is required in a formula. Same thing. Capable of plugging into a formula. That's a chi-squared is what that is. Just literally. So they want us to write that. It's more of a algebra review, even though it's all symbols. Yeah, they're just seeing if we know how to interpret the notation here. So what is 1 minus p? It's 1 minus, in fact, we can do it in there. Thing, so we don't always know what we're going to get here, but it's just basically plug this stuff in. So once again, it's going to be the middle. Yeah, if that's the middle there, and then the distance is just the height, 9.41 minus the middle. Add them, divide by 2, we get the middle. Find the distance from the middle of the interval to either point. That's the 10.16 minus the middle. So p hat is technically, remember, an x over n, where x is 124, n is 520. So q is just 1 minus p, they say there, but if p is 0.25, we don't always show the math. We know that q is 0.75. We're supposed to see the simplest thing where p plus q always equals 1. Okay, so we just want to kind of run through these exercises so we can kind of carry on in the next video here, I think. Yeah.